Okay, so you're considering buying a home and you probably are asking yourself a question that a lot of people in your position find themselves asking. And that question is right now a good time to even be buying a house? Well, what if I told you that the answer is actually it depends. Everybody's situation is a little different. So my plan today is to give you 5 things to consider when asking yourself, is right now a good time to buy a house? Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Anthony Williams and I'm a realtor here in Maryland. I make videos on YouTube trying to give people tips and tricks that might help them one day buy their own house or maybe even sell an existing home. So if you get any value from this video, please like and subscribe, as it helps the channel and it helps me know that I'm giving back the way that someone once helped me. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first thing to think about when considering is now a good time to buy a home is actually going to be an overarching theme of this entire video. Everybody's situation is different. There's no one answer to this, and that's something that I think that you should know, because it's easy to get caught up looking at what people around you might be going through, or what your parents might have done, or what your best friend just did as far as it goes. When you start talking about buying a home, everybody's situation is different. Financially, it could be a thing. Maybe you're in the middle of building a family and you don't think you want to interrupt that, you know, a new baby or something like that. Maybe you have a wedding coming up. Maybe you just switched jobs and you want to hold off for a second. So the answer to the first thing anyway, don't let anybody rush your process. If it's the time for you, it's the time for you, and that doesn't have a whole lot to do with the market. It's just an individual thing that, you know, is based on what you got going on, essentially. The second thing to consider when asking yourself, is right now a good time to buy a home, is your financial situation. I know it seems super basic, but a lot of people aren't able to be honest with themselves about their financial situation. I have a client who I was just able to get a house, and they actually got money back at the closing table, right? That's awesome. They got money back, and we put them in a program that got them, you know, a bunch of money to help them. They went into the house and basically with nothing. Like I said, they got paid at the table. But that isn't everybody's situation. And in my personal opinion, you should have some savings moving into the house. So, you know, if you start asking yourself, is now a good time, be honest with yourself about your personal financial situation, and really consider, are you used to paying a rent? Are you used to paying a large monthly installment? And if you've been doing that, then, you know, it might be time to step it on up and get into the real thing. The third thing to consider when thinking about is now a good time to buy a house is your personal long-term goals. You know, if you find yourself in a situation where you're thinking about moving out of town, then that is going to affect your home search and what you decide to do. You might not decide to buy the biggest house with the most land right now. Maybe you want something that's more of a first time, like a starter home with, you know, maybe a couple more bedrooms than you need, because long term you don't see yourself being here. Maybe you can use some of those rooms to rent and generate some income on the back end. A lot of factors to consider, and your long-term goals are important. You want to make sure that when you make this decision, you consider the direction that your life might be going in. If you know your long-term goals, it helps make it easier to decide if now is the right time to buy a house. The fourth thing that you should consider when you ask yourself, is now a good time to buy a house, is asking yourself, are you mentally prepared and emotionally prepared for what comes with home ownership? There are a lot of benefits of home ownership, but, you know, it's going to come with maintenance, and things do go wrong. Sometimes, you know, something might spring a leak, or, you know, maybe you had something go wrong with your lawn. If you're a lawn person and you spent all, you know, last fall getting your lawn ready, and in the spring it doesn't come. I know that's a crazy idea, but, you know, everybody is emotionally different, right? And there are lots of things being benefits anyway of being a homeowner, but there are lots of things that also go wrong and can go wrong. And emotionally, are you ready to deal with what comes with being a homeowner? There's a lot of great benefits to it, but there are also some things that are going to come that you have to, look at that, my screen turned on, I'm gonna turn it back. Lots of things to consider, and being emotionally prepared for the process is an important part of it, because even going into buying a home, right, the process of buying a home, it can be frustrating. Some people look at 20 homes before before they choose one. Hopefully that's not what you go through, but it does happen. Some people get to escrow, and man, I'm gonna be honest with you, my last client had issues with how personal the process gets, right? Like the lenders ask for a lot of information, and sometimes you'll get to the point where you're asking yourself, didn't I just send them this damn document? They asking me for it again. It might sound crazy, but that can honestly be emotionally taxing, that process. A lot of ups and downs to that process, and at the end of it, there's this extreme high. But I bet if you talk to people who who've gone through the process, they'll tell you about a time in which they were ready to give up. So yeah, ask yourself, am I ready for that process? Seems basic, but it's important to ask these questions. And the fifth thing to think about when considering buying a home, another overarching theme, is understanding that this is a big decision. It's kind of what this video is summed up. It's a big decision, and I do think that owning a home is great. There are lots of benefits, but throughout the process, things come up. It's a big boy / big girl decision, and you should look at the totality of your situation before you consider making this move, because as rewarding as it is, if you don't prepare yourself, it can lead to even more frustration. I'm just trying to be honest with you about the situation. Some people will come on and try to force you into just buy a home and do it with me. And although I do want you to use my services, I also pride myself on being honest and open with my clients, because at the end of the day, I want happy clients, because happy clients at the end of the day do bring more business. They tell people about you. I want to create long-term relationships, and the best way for me to do that is to be honest with you about the process. So with that being said, I have a buyer's guide. There'll be a link in the description for a free buyer's guide that'll walk you through step by step the process of buying a home, so that maybe you can have a more full understanding of the process. Feel free to click that link, and if you have any questions, I'll also leave a link to get in contact with me directly, or if you just want a consultation, if you just want to talk and ask questions about buying a home, feel free to click that link. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, because I'll be trying to do this more often. Have a good one.